Good morning. Welcome back to White-Haired Gardener. Today, at long last, I'm going to give you the garden tour that I've been promising. I'm going to start on the chicken side, take you down each bed, show you what's happening, then go over to the other side and do the same thing. So, let's get started. First, I'm going to brag about the asparagus. I have never seen asparagus that grows so tall. I would say that this guy is 8 feet or so. They've been kind of encroaching over this area. I was growing peas here. Luckily they climb because otherwise they'd have no chance. It would be perpetually shaded, but lesson learned. Now on bed 2, I don't know if you remember or not, all of these pole beans, which are rattlesnake pole beans, wonderful, I would recommend them, were all volunteers from last year. Went over to some of the old beds and they were starting up, so I never even bothered to plant any this year. They all came from volunteers, so I'm very pleased. We have pretty little blossoms and lots of beans already. We've already harvested this 2 times, and it's a little earlier than I would have thought to do so, but the volunteers were so much more ahead. Now going over here, Mr. White-Haired Gardener, we had severely cut down our blackberries. This was the only one that was producing berries, the rest were not. So we dug them out, moved him to the center, and since it'll take him a while to grow, I filled this in with some cantaloupe. Looking over here, if you ever wanted to know what little purple violets do when they are unhindered by trying to grow in the grass or along the side of the road, this is what happens. They just grow huge, and actually this is a medicinal plant. Well, not so much a medicinal plant, but you can use this for food. I will put down a link to our website to give some of the benefits of violets and what you can do with them. So if you want to grow an easy weed that you can eat, this would be one of them. Coming over here, these are our grapes. Look at that. Lovely. There you go. Can you get a nice picture of this cluster, Mr. White-Haired Gardener? So pretty. I cannot wait. These guys are growing up. I've trimmed these back a couple of times.
Which are these?
Oh, sorry. These are Concord grapes with seeds. I prefer the seeded varieties just because they're not a hybrid. And, you know, frankly, this guy seems happy here. Down below, I've transplanted a couple of strawberries, and it looks like they're going to make it. So that strawberry will be a nice ground cover and hold in moisture. Now, if we go way over here to this bed, this is my lemon balm. I was not prepared for it to be quite so large, but it's going, you know, it's growing like crazy. You can use lemon balm as well, and I will try to, you know, get off my duff and start giving you links to our website explaining what you can do with each of these plants. Hidden under here, luckily it doesn't mind it, is thyme. The thyme is in bloom with pretty little blue blossoms, and this will grow every year, perennial. This is technically, the lemon balm is technically not a perennial, but it will reseed itself every year. You won't be able to get rid of it. Come over here, which is something unusual in a garden. You know the plantain that they keep talking about with medicinal properties and you can eat it? This is what happens with unhindered plantain, that you don't have it growing in the yard. I gave it plenty of room and this thing has taken off. I will also send a link to our website showing you the wonderful uses of this weed that you can eat. We come over here. Now, this is one of my volunteer tomatoes. Don't know what it is. I'm thinking Tommy Toe, which is a grape tomato. This guy came up really fast. I didn't have the heart to throw them away, so I stuck them in the ground. And look at this. And these are what I grew from seed. Now they're doing quite well, but those volunteers just go up so fast. Along this line is one of my new tries, which is Amish paste. and because I really wanted to have some kind of paste tomato so that I could make lots of sauces. Oh, over here is that celery that I showed you earlier. This is quickly going to seed, and yeah, I mean, it's just moving up, so I'm going to have a ton of celery seed this year. Very good for you as well. On here, I'm growing some kale. I'm not quite sure what this is. I thought before it was like a purple Russian kale, but I think it's kind of morphed over the years because I keep saving seeds. And this, the chickens love. That is their absolute favorite kale, and I can use that in salads. Ooh, oh, nasty, nasty, nasty. We are finally starting to get those horrid Japanese beetles. That's what one looks like. What I do with these things is I go out with with a cup with water in it, catch them, dump them in that, and then feed them to the chickens. They love them, and there's no pesticide sprayed. Broccoli is doing well, but it's getting too hot for it. I clipped off the little head that we had, and I had that last night, which was pretty good and very tender. Same thing over here with the beets. They're about reaching the end of their tether because it's really too hot for them as well. And that's pretty well what we've got along the side of this, and I'll take you over to the other side and show you what we've got there. Well, this is on the other side. Bed, what, 1, 2, 3, 4. A volunteer lettuce, and that's getting ready to go to seed as well. Rather an odd place for it, but I just let it grow, as well as all of this little dill. So my garden is somewhat haphazard this year, but one good thing about gardening, it doesn't have to be etched in stone. Do what you want, try what you want. If it works, yay, do it again. If it doesn't, you have next year or even later in the season. Anyway, this is the lettuce. That is some volunteer dill. And if Mr. White-haired Gardener, if you can go right over here, I have also some turmeric growing in the garden, and it seems to be doing quite well. That was just an afterthought, stuck it in there, and it's just moving right along. Now this is a pumpkin. Pumpkins generally spread all over the place, and I really, frankly, didn't have the room. So what I'm trying this year is to train it up over this trellis and see if I can't grow pumpkin vertically. So that's going to be my challenge and my new trying thing this season. Now we've got a couple blossoms. I've been taking, now this one is a male blossom, and I don't think I've got any female blossoms over here. We'll see. Nope, both males, so I'm not going to do any pollinating today. Well, I should have shown you the time over there, but I've got some more time, but you already saw it in the first place. Let's see. Here's another little Amish paste tomato that I'm hoping will have enough room, and it's doubtful because I think that the pumpkin will take over. We have a row of tomatoes over here, Amish paste, and a classic beefsteak, and Mr. Stripey. I saved some seeds from my single Mr. Stripey last year, and he's growing very well. Here was volunteer cilantro. This is wonderful. It's already going to seed, which is way ahead of the time that it should. But, that was my fault. I just let the volunteers grow. So soon I'll have a ton of seed, and I think I'm going to replant that the moment I get some. This big boy is oregano. He's totally happy in this spot, and you got to watch out for oregano because he will spread. So periodically, I have Mr. White-haired Gardener mow him down. I will trim him back in the garden so he doesn't take over this whole bed. Here, I had almost given up on my summer squash. And once I just said, forget it, I'm not going to do it, then they come up, of course. So these are growing well. Mr. White-haired Gardener is going to be making me another little frame like this, and I'm going to try to grow these up as well and see how that goes. I saw some, nice pictures of people trying to grow it vertically, and I thought there's no reason why I couldn't try it. Little bit of romaine here, little bit of Forellenschluss lettuce here. And I've got some bush beans. These are really nice. They're royal burgundy. They make a, well here, I'll grab this. They make a deep purple bean. Now the fun thing about this, if your kids do not like to eat their vegetables, call these color change beans because it's exactly what they do. You take these, put them in a pot, and as they get hot, they'll just change to bright green. And kids seem to, wow, color change beans? I'll eat that. Now, we have a little pepper down here, a little pepper over here. Now, these are way, way behind the time that they should, but peppers love hot weather, and I do not despair of having a ton of peppers later on in the season. Now, we have carrots, which is a very prolific one, and peas against the back. Now soon, these peas are reaching the end of their tether, and they didn't grow as well as I thought they would. So I will cut them back. I'm going to leave the roots in the soil because they fix nitrogen in the soil, and plant tomatoes here. Same thing for this side. We have a few carrots still left and some peas. And then, look at this, shallots. This is my first year on growing shallots, and they're huge. I really thought that they would have made smaller bulbs separated. So this is an experiment on my end. Some more kale for me and for the chickens. And another row of cayenne and another pepper that I like, which is Jabarski. Makes a nice sweet pepper, thin-skinned, and the flavor is superb. I have a few sad onions here and a giant dandelion, which I will be digging up soon because I want to put more peppers in here. So really, for the most part, I guess that's it. Just wanted to let you know where everything stands in my haphazard garden this year, and everything is going along swimmingly. Ooh, a couple things. I forgot to show you our strawberries and blueberries over on the other side, and the potatoes we're doing. And here we have our potatoes in that same little box that we made last year. We'll put a link to those videos. Easy box. I'm filling it with the chicken straw, and planted some seed potato. I always want to say tomatoes. Seed potatoes in there, and they're coming along quite well. And for some reason, knock on wood, we don't have the problem with the fungus or virus that we had last year. Now, if Mr. White-haired Gardener wants to slowly turn around, we have a little cherry tree, tart cherry tree, right behind there that seems to be quite happy in its place. I will show you over there the blueberries and strawberries in just a second, but I'm going to have to walk around the fence. And last but not least is our little blueberry bed. We have 3 blueberries. This one we transplanted from the side of the house, so he needs some catching up time, and I think he's lacking some nutrients, so we'll see how he comes back. And the whole bed are strawberries. These are ever bearing, so we get many harvests on the year for this. But we started off with 6 little teeny strawberry plants, and they just took over. So I've been giving shoots to all family and friends, also to the chickens because they love them. And otherwise, I guess that's it. Such as it is, our little garden tour of our haphazard little beds this year. And please come back, and I will remember to put those links on there for you.